The wind howled across the desert sands. The night sky glimmered with cold, distant stars. In the distance, the cries of thousands echoed, men, women, and children. The Israelites had just left Egypt. They were free, but freedom came with fear. For behind them, the thunder of horses began to rise. Pharaoh had changed his mind. His heart hardened once again, burned with vengeance. 600 chariots rolled across the desert, spears flashing under the moonlight. And the Israelites, trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Red Sea, felt their courage crumble. "Moses," someone cried, "why have you brought us here to die? Were there no graves in Egypt?" The crowd shouted, trembling. Mothers clutched their children. Old men fell to their knees in despair. Moses turned his eyes toward the dark waters, a vast, endless barrier before him. And for a moment, even he could hear the whisper of doubt. But then he remembered the burning bush, the voice of God, the plagues that broke Egypt's pride, the night of Passover, when death passed over their homes. Moses took a deep breath. He raised his staff toward heaven and spoke, his voice steady and clear. "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever." The people fell silent. The only sound was the rumble of distant thunder and the crash of waves ahead. Then God spoke. "Lift up your rod, stretch out your hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea." The night grew darker. A thick cloud descended, standing between Israel and Egypt. To the Israelites it glowed with divine light. To the Egyptians it was a wall of blinding darkness. The wind began to blow, fierce, howling, unstoppable. The waters trembled. The sea began to split. Before their eyes, walls of water rose to the left and to the right. The ocean floor, once hidden, now stretched out like a golden path beneath the moon. Moses stood at the edge, his staff still raised. "Go forward," he shouted. And the people moved, step by step, 1,000,000 souls walking between two walls of living water. Imagine it, the rush of wind in your ears, the roaring of the waves beside you, the cries of children clinging to their mothers' robes, the pounding of hearts that could not believe what they were seeing. Faith was no longer a word. It was their only road. As they crossed, the angel of God, who had led them by the pillar of fire, moved behind them, shielding them from Pharaoh's army. Pharaoh saw the path through the sea and roared, "After them! Drive forward!" The chariots surged into the sea, but the God of Israel had already written the ending. The wheels of the chariots began to jam. Horses stumbled. Confusion spread among the soldiers. "Let us flee from the face of Israel," one soldier cried, "for the Lord fights for them." But it was too late. Moses looked back. Then he heard God's command once more, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians." Moses obeyed. The moment his staff pointed toward the sky, the sea walls trembled and collapsed. The water roared like thunder. The Red Sea swallowed the chariots, the soldiers, the spears, the cries. The waves closed over them, and silence fell. When morning came, the Israelites stood on the far shore, safe, free, alive. The sun rose over the sea, its golden light shimmering on the waters that had been their prison and their path. Moses fell to his knees, and there, with tears in his eyes, he began to sing, I will sing unto the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. The people joined him, their voices rising like a mighty chorus. Tambourines rang, children danced, and Miriam, the sister of Moses, led the women in praise. Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. That day Israel learned something the desert could never teach. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to move forward when fear surrounds you. When everything behind you says surrender and everything ahead of you looks impossible, faith says move. The Red Sea story isn't just about the Israelites. It's about us. When the waters rise, when enemies chase, when the road ends, God opens a way where there was none. Sometimes the miracle doesn't come until you take the first step. Sometimes the sea doesn't part until you trust the voice that tells you to move. Moses didn't have all the answers. He had faith, and faith was enough. So when your back is against the wall, when fear whispers louder than hope, remember this night, the night when faith defeated fear. If this story touched your heart, the narrator says gently, subscribe and join us for more timeless Bible stories that strengthen faith and ignite hope.